What's going on, fellas? Today I will be giving you a tutorial on the most powerful demon in the underworld, the Wall of Flesh. Now don't be frightened at his large appearance, because I'll tell you exactly what you need to do to take this guy down. Make sure to subscribe and like this video to help me out, and also because I'm just desperate for views. But anyways, let's summon the Wall of Flesh. Let's start with where you have to go to summon the wall in the first place, the underworld. I hope by this point in the game you've already made a elevator down to the underworld, and if you haven't, you might be cooked. Just saying. But once you do make it to the underworld, you're going to be immediately bombarded with hundreds of enemies, and it will be very painful and annoying. But all of this is worth it because there's this little fella called the demon. A normal demon won't be useful to you, but one of these voodoo demons will. This kind of demon is quite rare, and for a good reason. It's because they carry the guide voodoo doll. You may be wondering, how's this stuff you're saying right now useful to me in any way, dear Serpentine? Well, because when you throw this guide voodoo doll into lava, it summons a massive wall of flesh to come chase you down and shoot lasers at you. The only way you're ever going to stand a chance against this unholy monstrosity is if you build a sick arena. Now, an arena for the Wall of Flesh is not going to be like your average multi-row platform run-of-the-mill arena. Although there are many ways to build this arena, they all have one thing in common. One long row of blocks, stretching as far as the eye can see. You're going to want to make sure that this long platform can last you a while, because you can only go one direction in this fight, as the Wall of Flesh won't let you simply jump over it. I'm talking a platform that at a minimum would take up a fifth of the underworld, if you're playing on a large world. Usually I wouldn't recommend making your arena out of platform blocks, but some people like to play that way. If I were you, I would place any block on hand that you have a lot of on the bottom of the open space in the underworld. If you're playing on expert or master mode, dig 1 block wide holes on the bottom of your arena, because lava slimes spill lava when killed. Now that you have an arena built, you can add some placeable buff items to help you. Some examples of these items would be campfires and heart lanterns, which both give you regen, bass statues for defense, gnomes for luck, sunflowers for decreased enemy spawn rates, and stars in a bottle for mage players wanting to regen mana quicker. That's all for the arena. Now on to the juice of the video, armor. If you want to defeat the Wall of Flesh, your loadout will be a big part of that goal, and for a proper loadout, you're going to need proper armor, starting with the melee class, in which you're going to want to get molten armor, forged from hellstone bars. Next is the range class, where you're going to want to get necro armor, made from bones from the dungeon and cobweb from caves. Now for the mage class's meteor armor, made from meteorite bars. Lastly is the summoner class, where you're going to want to get either bee armor or obsidian armor, both having their own unique benefits. Bee armor focused on minion damage and obsidian armor on whip damage. Great, now you have the best armor at this point in the game, but you still need some weapons. You are so close to being able to defeat the wall. All you need is some weapons. First up is melee with the Knight's Edge. This sword is extremely powerful as it has a massive amount of range for a pre-hard mode sword, and it also deals a high amount of damage. It's crafted from combining the Blood Butcher or the Light's Bane with the Muramasa, the Blade of Grass, and the Volcano at a Demon or Crimson altar. Next is the ranged class, where you can use the Molten Fury with Hellfire arrows or the Bee's Knees. And after you get the wall down to around a third of its health, whip out the Star Cannon, which will destroy the wall. To go an extra step further, definitely get bee nades to certify that this boss goes down. And now for the mage class, where you will for sure want to get the Water Bolt. A secondary weapon could be the Demon Scythe. To pair with these weapons, bring a bee gun. Lastly, for the summoner class, use the Spinal Tap Whip with an Imp Staff. That's it for weapons. Let's move on to accessories. Let's start with our movement accessories. Good examples of movement accessories would be at a minimum lightning boots, or its other better variants like frog or tear spark boots. You could also get a horseshoe balloon or its other variants like a bundle of horseshoe balloons. You should also get fledgling wings to help you dodge those lasers. With that, get tiger climbing gear or frog gear if you have the available space. An expert in master mode, definitely have the Shield of Cthulhu glued to you. Next is combat accessories. For all classes, get a Band of Regeneration, a Stinger necklace, and an Obsidian Shield. For Expert and Master mode, either get the Worm Scarf or the Brain of Confusion. And for the class-specific accessories, Melee and Summoner should get Feral Claws. Mage should get a Band of Mana Regen, a Band of Star Power, a Mana Flower, and if you need it, Celestial Cuffs. Lastly is for Summoner. Get the Apprentice's Scarf, the Squire's Shield, and the Pygmy Necklace. That's every accessory that you'll need. Now let's craft some potions. Potions are some of the last things on this list because they're probably the least needed thing to defeat any given boss. That's if we're excluding healing potions, which are a given, and mana potions, which mages need. Other than that, potions are really only needed in Expert and Master mode, but if you're playing Classic and are struggling with a boss, you can look at some of these potions ranked from most needed to least needed, in my opinion, at least. Starting with Swiftness, Endurance, Iron Skin, Regen, Wrath or Rage, Inferno, Heart Reach, Invisibility, Thorns, Titan, and Shine. And with these potions, bring any food item, preferably one that is labeled to give major improvements to all stats. Lastly, if you so happen to be playing on a multiplayer world, bring wormhole potions to teleport back to your friends if you die during the fight. But this isn't all, because here are some class-specific potions to use. For the ranged class, bring archery potions and ammo reservation potions. For the mage class, bring magic power potions and magic regeneration potions. And for the summoner class, get summoning potions. Lastly is a subclass of potions called flasks, which are for melee and summoner players. The flask you should get is the Flask of Poison. The Wall of Flesh is immune to the Flask of Fire. The final thing you should know about is the placeable click to buff items, which help you even further in your journey. For melee, get the Sharpening Station. For ranged, get the Ammo Box. For summoner, get the War Table and Bewitching Table. Lastly, for all classes, get a Slice of Cake to help you even further. Yeah, let's give it up for this guy. Looks like you just defeated the Wall of Flesh, which is a pretty big feat. But uh-oh, it looks like the ancient spirits of light and dark have been released. You're in hard mode. Now that you're in hard mode, we should see what the Wall of Flesh dropped. Maybe it'll be useful. P.S. It will. Here's what the wall drops ranked from most useful to least useful. First is the PWN Hammer. Use it to break the altars in your Evil Biome in order to get access to your first hard mode ores. Next is the emblems for each class. These emblems strengthen your weapons by a lot, and will most likely be with you for the rest of the game. Now for the Firecracker Whip. If you're a summoner, you need this weapon. Next is the Breaker Blade, which can be a handy weapon for the melee class. Now the Laser Rifle and the Clockwork Assault Rifle. They're not the most useful weapons, but they can still be used. Next is the 5 to 15 healing potions you'll get, which won't really change much. Lastly is the Badger's Hat, the Wall of Flesh Mask, and the Wall of Flesh Trophy, which are basically just vanity and misc items, but they can still look pretty cool. The wall will also drop 8 gold coins in Classic. In Expert and Master, he drops 28. Speaking of Expert and Master, in Expert and Master mode, the wall drops a Demon Heart, which provides you with 1 extra accessory slot. In only Master mode, the Wall of Flesh will drop the Wall of Flesh Relic and the Goat Skull, which is your first hard mode mount. Now that you know everything the wall drops, it's time for some extra information. As said before, the moment you defeat the Wall of Flesh, your world will permanently be converted into hard mode. Hard mode adds a lot of new content to the game, ranging from new items and enemies to entire new biomes. The main new biome that will come into your world is called the Hollow, which is a magical forest that looks friendly, but has killer unicorns and pixies. And whatever evil biome that was already in your world will become way larger, where it forms a V-shape with the Hollow from the top of your world to the bottom, in the very center. The wall also gives you 2 debuffs while fighting it. The first is called Horrified, which means that as soon as you use a magic mirror or any other means of teleportation to get away from the wall, you die instantly. The second debuff is called the Tongue debuff, which means that if you try to leave the underworld or go behind the wall, one of its tendrils will grab you and reel you back into the arena. Also, once you defeat the Wall of Flesh and enter hard mode, the Wizard NPC will spawn in the caverns waiting for you to save him. He sells magic-related items for the mage class, some being very useful. Upon killing the wall, an enemy called the Tortured Soul can now spawn in the underworld. When you throw the Dryad's Purification Powder on this enemy, it turns into the Tax Collector NPC, which essentially gives you free money. That's all the extra information you need to know, which leads us to the end of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like and subscribe to help me out. Good luck in hard mode, but anyways, see you soon.